I have stated on multiple occasions that I do not understand why anyone would want to use over-ear headphones for their sweaty workouts. That's why I thought I would challenge both myself and H2O Audio by testing the Zwift edition of the RIPT Ultra, because if these headphones cannot change my mind, then nothing will. So let's see what happens. Hi, my name is Andy and you're watching Andy's Tech Tone. Thanks for tuning in. Not sure if you have noticed it yet, but I have a low-key obsession with the orange color. It's nothing new, for some reason I have always loved it. But that's not why I decided to test these headphones. Well, in all honesty, it kinda was, but let's just focus on what the RIPT Ultra has to offer in terms of its actual features. Most importantly, there is the manufacturer's claim, according to which their headphones are 100% sweat-proof. And as a guy with an extremely high sweat rate, I was really curious to see if these can be used for exercise. And here let me give you a quick disclaimer. I got the headphones from H2O Audio for this test, but I'm not getting paid, nor did I give preview privileges to anyone, so all you get is my honest and unfiltered opinion. Now let's dive into the details. As I expected from a workout-compatible design, these headphones have a tight fit and a robust enough build quality. By a tight fit, I mean that the clamping force is a bit stronger than average, but not to the extent that it would make it uncomfortable even after hours and hours of use, especially with the second set of ear pads, but more about that in a second. I took the headphones to the gym, I used them on my smart trainer at home, for some casual strolling in town, and I even took them out for a run. And that's not something I thought I would ever do, as I could never truly understand why anyone would want to run with chunky over-ears on their head. And to be honest, I didn't expect much from the RIPT Ultra there either. But I couldn't be more wrong, as in fact it performed admirably. It was sitting securely on my head, it also handled wind noise okay, and since it was a chilly enough morning I chose for the test, I was particularly happy with how warm and comfy the silicone pads made my ears feel the whole time. So even though the headphones were not designed to be used for running specifically, I have to give it credit where credit is due. But the RIPT Ultra is more likely targeted at cyclists, hence the special Zwift co-branded orange colorway. During the winter months, cyclists tend to train more indoors using their smart trainers, probably connected to Zwift or some other virtual training platform, so of course I tried that too. And while I was afraid of the ear pads filling up with my own sweat, after 1.5 hours of riding on my bike, I noticed that it was not the case at all. Of course, everything was wet at that point, but thanks to the sealed nature of these silicone paddings and the waterproof membrane, I'm confident that no sweat made it to the speakers or to the electronics inside. After removing the silicone cushions with a gentle twisting motion, you can see that there is some moisture around the outer rim of the plastic cup, but everything else seems to be dry. And you can easily wipe the plastic cup dry with a towel, and you can even rinse the silicone ear cushions under tap water, so the salt in your sweat will not damage them in the long run. And after your workout, you can easily switch to the more traditional leather cushions to be used for the rest of the day, as H2O Audio provide you with a pair of those in the box as well. And while we are at it, what you can also find in the box is a hard carry case with a charging cable and an audio cable inside. And as for the robustness of the build quality, the headphones use a solid metal headband which gives you that tight fit, but also a good range for precisely adjusting its size. The padding at the bottom of the headband is sufficient, and while it's not overly generous, it perfectly fits the purpose. The rest of the headphones is made from plastic, and while it all feels well put together at first, there is some squeaking and crackling noise here and there. It only becomes apparent when running or moving around a lot, but with the music turned up, you won't notice much of it at all. At the end of the day, I feel like that H2O Audio have kind of nailed the purpose-built design of the RIPT Ultra by giving us not only a tight yet comfy enough fit, but also the switchable cushions on the ear cups. But while the design makes these headphones stand out from the crowd, you can hardly say the same about its features. As for the wireless connection, we get a Bluetooth 5.4 compliant chip with support for dual device connection and the aptX HD audio codec. Nothing special there, but at least it all works well without any hiccups, dropped signals or meaningful latency issues. As for the controls, I'm always glad to see plastic buttons instead of touch controls, which usually are a big no-no for steamy workouts. So here we get an ANC button at the back of the left ear cup and the play pause/power button along with 2 volume rockers on the right ear cup. The functionality of the buttons cannot be changed due to the lack of a companion app, but since it's all well laid out, I don't really miss that option. My only gripe is with the ANC button, which is a bit tight, and a couple of times it got stuck and kept looping between the different ambient modes for a while. It could be just my sample, but I have this annoying issue anyway. The battery life is claimed to be up to 50 hours, and while I cannot really confirm it, I noticed that the headphones would still give me a high battery status even after a week of use, so I don't think that battery life would be an issue here. The supplied USB-C cable will only allow you to charge the headphones, as there is no USB or external DAC modes of any sort. But there is the good old analog mode, as we get a 3.5mm audio jack along with an audio cable, which is of a usable length. When plugged in, the wireless features and the media controls will be disabled, and while we still can use the ANC in this case, I experienced some prominent ground loop humming noise when it was enabled. And speaking of the ANC, let's talk about that next. Higher frequencies can get through much more easily than, let's say, on a Sony WH-1000XM5, and also lower pitch hums and droning noises are handled better by others. But while you shouldn't expect a class-leading performance here, we get a decent attenuation across the frequency range, which is plenty enough to drown out the noise coming from your turbo trainer, even when spinning at high cadences and delivering high watts. And when you do that, having a fan blowing air into your face is rather essential, but the mics on board can handle that relatively well, so I have to say that wind noise did not bother me at all, and the same applies to actual wind when running outside. Onto the transparency mode, it sounds a bit muffled across the mid-range and the treble, and we also get some hissing noise. So while it's okay to maintain awareness of our surroundings, it might not be the best option out there if you want to chat with someone or if you need the absolute top of the class clarity. Also, there is no quick chat or speak to chat or any other option like that. You can only toggle through the 3 different ambient modes manually using the ANC button. Again, with app support we could customize some of the settings here, but that's non-existing, so let's just move on and talk about the sound of those 45mm drivers. And in short, the RIPT Ultra can deliver a very punchy and enjoyable sound, with plenty of bass, decent enough mids and a smooth treble. The lower octaves have a better than average extension, and we also get a huge kick in the mid-bass region, which will make everything sound dynamic and powerful. The mid-range and especially vocals sound a touch darker than my personal preference, but at least this character matches the warm tonality of the bottom end. It's not quite the richest sounding mid-range I have ever heard, and I could also imagine more presence from certain instruments, but nothing comes across as boxy, nor there is any shouting of sorts, which makes most genres very comfortable to listen to. Podcasts and videos might suffer a bit due to the lack of clarity in human voices, and there is no app with an optional vocal boost EQ preset either, so that's something to keep in mind. The treble is smooth, but maybe a bit more aggressively rolled off than I would like it to be, which makes the top end a bit lacking in terms of details and presence. The attenuated highs also impact the sound stage in a sense that everything feels a bit crammed into the middle, with not much air in the presentation. There is only a tight and narrow soundscape on offer, with a slightly below average amount of separation between instruments. Maximum volume is well beyond the level I would even dare to test, so I can hardly imagine most people will complain about that. Switching between the different ambient modes does not really cause any major shifts in the sound, but maybe with the ANC turned on, there is a touch more of a bass than in either transparency or normal mode. I was also looking for a difference between using the 2 sets of ear cushions, but other than maybe a hair more of a high frequency energy with the leather pads, nothing really stood out to me. All that said, the sound is dynamic and warm with a fairly dominant bass, but without any excessive energy or sibilance up top. And considering the primary use case of these headphones, this is a sonic character that can only support your demanding workouts without causing any ear fatigue in the long run. And now let me give you a quick audio sample from the built-in microphones on the H2O Audio RIPT Ultra. So this is the phone call quality you can expect from these headphones in a quiet room. And this is what the mics will sound like during a phone call while you are on your smart trainer with a fan blowing air onto your face. And to wrap things up, I cannot highlight the purpose-built nature of the H2O Audio RIPT Ultra enough, both in terms of its design and its sound. And even though what piqued my interest was actually their bright orange colorway at first, and I was a bit skeptical about the rest of it going in, I have to say that using the headphones for a couple of weeks made me realize that I can easily squeeze them into the rotation of different in-ears, open ears and bone conduction headphones I use for my training. Thanks to their robust and tight design, they sit securely on my head during cycling or running, and their sound is punchy and powerful, which is exactly what I want for my workouts. On the plus side, switching to the leather cushions makes them comfortable to wear during casual use as well. Their price is a bit steep for what they can actually do as far as features, and by that I mostly mean the average noise cancelling performance and the lack of an app. But at $250, 220 euros or 190 pounds, I would still recommend the RIPT Ultra to those who lead an active lifestyle and need something purpose-built for their workouts. And in case you don't share my admiration of the orange color, then you can get the normal RIPT Ultra in either black or grey instead, as other than their color, those headphones are the exact same inside and they cost the same as well. They will also draw less of an attention, so if you want to stay low profile in the gym, you are better off with either of those two options. At the end of the day, whether you actually need over-ears for your workouts or not is up to you to decide, but if you think you do, then regardless of your color preferences, I would put the RIPT Ultra at the top of your list. And that's it for the day. If you liked the video, then don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Feel free to leave a comment should you have anything to ask or share. Thanks for watching everyone, hope to see you all in the next one.